Someone in the band has to be really versed in music theory because you have to kind of know the rules to break them. That's kind of the reason I got into progressive music and metal, because they broke all the rules. Odd time signatures, weird modulations that make no sense. This band scratched that itch for me. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Low End University. For the next few weeks, I'm taking some much needed time off. But in the meantime, I wanted to post some content from the Patreon archives. And I wanted to kick it off with one of my full album reactions. I've done about 20 episodes so far, and I couldn't decide what to post, so I let our Patreon community vote on it. And much to my surprise, they picked Bad Religion's The Process of Belief. And yes, while I'm surprised by that result, I'm in agreement because I think this episode in particular was another milestone moment where I really realized punk rock wasn't at all what I thought it was. And as you watch this episode, you'll kind of see that unfold in real time as I go through each song. And a lot of people said The Process of Belief was a strange place to start with Bad Religion, but it's precisely what made me fall in love with the band. And I hope you enjoy the episode. I hope you'll consider joining our Patreon community, but without further ado, here's Bad Religion's The Process of Belief from start to finish. Okay, as usual, I'm going to try to scratch some notes down if I need to remember something, but let's get into it. Opening track, Supersonic. Here we go.
Well, I'm not making hate, so could it be haste is making me? What's time but a thing to kill or keep a fire or lose or living? I gotta go faster, keep up the pace, just to stay in the human race. I could go supersonic, the problem's chronic. Tell me, does life exist beyond it? When I need to say, I just accelerate into oblivion. Into oblivion.
Ooh.
Now here I go again, everything is alien. How does it feel to be outstripped by the waves of cultural change? My future senseless and rendered me.
That kind of has the white stripes. Okay, just something I noticed.
When measured in the pain, I could go supersonic. The problem's chronic. Tell me, does life exist beyond it? What I need to say,
Love those backup vocals.
Accelerate into oblivion. I won't lie. It's exhausting.
Okay, real quick. Yeah, this is more of what I thought Bad Religion might sound like when I first listened to Epiphany. Now I'm really excited to get to Epiphany. And I like when the full albums on Patreon have the track I know in the middle. A few of the times it's been the opening track, but I like when they're in the middle because it's like, oh, I see how it fits in now. I have no idea how this is going to fit in because this is very different. This is interesting. It's got like the thrashy kind of heavier sound punk might have, or what I would be used to, or what I thought they might sound like, but it's got more of a polished, and I wouldn't even say production, because the production's really great, but it's like the songwriting is just really well orchestrated. Those backup vocals have their own like counterpoint going in between the main melody. It's got this really, I say it a lot, nursery rhyme cadence, especially the way he resolves the melody back to the one, on oblivion. It's catchy already. Okay, keep going. Bass is moving.
I just wanna live decently, meaningfully. I'm in misery. I could go supersonic. The problem's gone.
I like that phrasing. It's kind of thrashy.
Tell me, does life exist beyond it? What I need to say, I just accelerate
Into oblivion.
Into oblivion.
Into oblivion. Yeah, it's really
Into oblivion.
good melody. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, I like that I kind of backup vocal thing. It's a really effective way to kind of keep that same melody going. And something I've kind of learned getting into just really listening to songs intently is that backup vocals are so much more about thickening up a chorus or a verse, but sometimes it's like, I imagine that an artist writes a really tight, airtight phrase and a melody to go with it, and then you've just got like 2 bars of space to fill, and maybe it sounds awkward to just stop the vocals, so they put in these like backup vocal melodies And I especially noticed that in the ska bands, the horns kind of carry the phrase to the end. I'm kind of hyper aware of that now because it's really something I never thought about until I got into doing this. But that's kind of an example of it right there. They kind of just ride the song out with the I kind of thing. Okay, that's Supersonic. Let's go on to track 2, Prove It. Here we go. I'm gonna really try to read the lyrics this time.
I don't ever need to prove myself to you.
I say that every time.
There's no such thing as hell, but you can make it if you try. There might come a day when emotion can be quantified, but as of now there's no proof. There might come a day when emotion can be quantified, but as of now there's no proof necessary.
Yeah, real quick, I know this is a short song. Well, I'll wait till the end. Almost there.
No proof necessary. No proof necessary. There's no proof necessary. It's only in your mind, your mind.
Interesting. Very cool. I like that this album, the second track, seemed very different in terms of like tonal center and key. And I've mentioned that on each of these reviews. I'm kind of looking for that too. Like how similar or different are the first, second tracks from each other? I find that usually dictates the variety on the record. So maybe I'm doing a bit of predicting now because I have no idea what to expect. That song really built up tension in not even one specific phrase, but the entire song really rode on the harmonic minor half-step sound. Because you had that opening riff, whereas the first song was kind of an E. This is more an A minor, but it kind of played into the A harmonic minor sound. That kind of sound, because the opening riff went. Then we had a lot of that major 5, which, again, I talk about it all the time, resolves really nicely back to a minor 1 chord. But none of those half steps are really like leaned into on any one phrase. The whole song was just kind of leaning into that sound, kind of a Middle Eastern sound. You know, you can kind of hear it. But they kind of rode on those patterns just with the chords themselves. So that's a great way to just add some tension. Who knows how it will carry on to the rest of the album, but I think the whole orchestration of that was really playing on that sound. Whereas the first song was a bit more kind of bluesy. That kind of thing. Okay, these are a little shorter songs than the last few albums I've done, so I gotta watch it. That one went by really quick. Prove It, very cool. Let's go on to the next one. Can't Stop It, track 3. Sound like a big bass power chord there. Just ka-jong, listen to that. That kind of thing. I hope he did. That's what it sounded like. This is driving. It's like a major second harmony. Hear that clash there? And I love how they added that harmony right when it's uncontrollable, I'm inconsolable. And there's some really great rhyming wordplay. It's almost kind of subtle, like a B rhyme in some places. Anyway, saying, I'm uncontrollable, I'm inconsolable, my pleasure center is the shelter for a reptile. These are pretty deep lyrics. I'm not picking up on them immediately, but I just want to point out the harmony they added on this particular line. It's a minor, I think it's a major second, so it kind of has this. A little bit of distance if I'm hearing that right.
I'm inconsolable. My precious center is a shelter for a reptile. I hate what I gotta tolerate. Frustration.
Maybe? It's hard to tell.
Let's set this straight. I never wait. And can't stop. Can't stop it. Can't stop. Can't stop shocking, but I just can't stop it. That's right.
This note, it's pretty metal. And these go by quick. This next one's a little longer. Okay. Yeah, that almost sounded like an extension of track 2, just in where the note placements of the chords just have an uneasy feeling, because this one had the tritone right there, right out of the gate. Then it went. See how like just kind of like sinister that sounds? But it wasn't phrased that way. It was packaged in this kind of driving. This is the most punk thing I think I've heard from them so far. But they have just a polished take. Maybe it's the background vocals. It just has like a really sophisticated sound. And I know they've been around a long time, so I'm definitely curious about how their older albums sound. I imagine they're not quite this polished, but I'm a sucker for like polished arrangements and production. This is really good. I really like the drum production. It's really weighty. That little tom fill that started the song, the tom fill in the end. Massive. It's really good sound. Let's keep it going. Broken. Here we go.
She said, thanks, but I'm broken. I guess you must have misspoken. What a laugh. I've never been chosen by anyone.
God, I love the vocals.
She was barely a teen, hanging out in between.
Ooh.
Just a part of the scene. With mercurial smile and incurable style, she was only a dream. How's that? He didn't know a thing about making love to the kind of girl you read about. He said, I'm bound to be broken. My daddy bet that I'd amount to nothing. He won't let anybody show him anything. He was a troubled child, had been down for a while, always kept to himself. No, she couldn't defend, he only wanted a friend.
Interesting thing, the guitar hangs over there and stays on the note before it. It's listen to this kind of contrast here.
No, she couldn't defend, he only wanted a friend.
That's interesting.
Now he's made something else.
This is a vibe.
It's so sad, no one saw it coming. The paper said that he hit the ground running. Oh yeah, I know I'm not.
Okay, I see what's happening there. Listen to how this electric guitar part is kind of in its own lane over here. Just it's like it's what am I trying to say? It's like it's just trying to make its presence known, but it's not really coming in yet until the chorus when it thickens up. And you have these like little almost solo-esque single note moments. And I won't really call them like lead-esque, because lead you might think higher up on the neck. But it's just popping in with these little accents every couple beats. You don't hear that a lot with guitar. Usually it's a bit more woven into the composition, but I like it. It kind of builds a sense of anticipation for that beat to drop. Let me play exactly what I'm talking about there. This song is really cool. I love the vocals on it. The acoustic. This is a really varied band I think I'm already seeing. I love that. Okay, let me show you the part I'm talking about.
He was a troubled child, had been down
No
for
electric
a
guitar.
while, always kept to himself. No, she couldn't defend, he only wanted a friend. Now he's made something else. It's so sad, no one saw it coming. The paper said that he hit the ground running.
Waiting for that.
Oh, yeah.
It's cool.
No, I'm not broken. A little cracked, but still I'm not broken. I wanna laugh, but I think that I'm choking on reality. When the world is turning for you, don't turn on me. Who are you here to repair? Well, I don't know what you mean. You could
yeah.
never resist.
That's the first like real bass ripper I've heard. I heard something in track 2, just some arpeggiation, but that was a Listen to that. That was sexy.
The world is turning for you. Don't turn on me. Who are you here to repair? Well, I don't know what you mean. You could never resist.
That's smooth.
Horrified in despair, and now it's coming to you, and I don't really care.
That's trippy.
While I'm not the kind to insist, you couldn't have missed. We must coexist. So please listen to me. There is no such thing as human debris. Oh yeah, I know I'm not broken, a little cracked, but that amounts to nothing. I wanna laugh, I'm not joking. I'm unbroken.
Love how they're really leaning into that dominant sound. Yeah, they started the song with that dominant chord. Anytime you start a song with a dominant chord like that, it's already like, okay, it's got that, I don't know, it just really sets the stage for some tension in the notes. I'm saying that word a lot, but it's funny, in these first 4 songs, they've used what I call tension in like 4 different ways. That's just, and it's really subtle. Every song's got a bit of a different way to use it. I love the vocal melody here. And I feel like I'm doing a better job of kind of reading the lyrics than I normally am. You know I'm not broken, a little cracked, that amounts to nothing. That's cool phrasing. I want to laugh. I'm not joking. I'm unbroken. But the melody behind it, it's just repeating. They do this thing where the melody repeats. Da 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 da. And they just change kind of 1 or 2 words, and it kind of drives the message home. It really caught my attention. I know I'm not broken, a little cracked, but that amounts to nothing. That's a cool phrase. And the thing of noticing about Jay Bentley so far, bass player, and I remember hearing this in Epiphany, is that it's nothing that jumps out at you, but it's easy to miss. But I did miss that bass fill, and it was the perfect, smooth, sexy way to link together like the bridge coming into this next part. I think that was a bridge. I'm going to go back to right here and hear this vocal melody. I'm not going to try to rewind too much, but I really like this part. Oh, and that panning left to right effect, that's so uncomfortable to listen to in headphones. I think that's an artistic, intentional thing coming out of that last stanza, having a place with no words, kind of makes you it kind of keeps you in that uncomfortable state. I wouldn't say this whole song's about being uncomfortable, but that's a really subtle thing. As soon as it came in, it's panning like really quick left to right. If you're in headphones listening to this, you'll be like, ugh. Kind of makes me squeamish.
While I'm not the kind to insist, you couldn't have missed. We must coexist. So please listen to me. There is no such thing as human debris.
Cool progression.
Oh, yeah, I know I'm not broken.
Da 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 da. Great cadence. That song was epic. Wow. Broken. Yeah. I'm a sucker for just really melodic stuff. You guys probably know this by now. This seems like cut from the same cloth as the songwriting approach to a song like Epiphany. Wow. Lots of sides of the band in just these first few tracks. I'm really excited. I'm excited about this band. They have some depth. They got some deep lyrics, deep things, deep melodies. The vocals are, this might be one of my favorite punk bands to discover vocally. I really like it. And I like all the different vocalists I've heard for a lot of different reasons. Some I like more than others. That's to be expected. I like this a lot. It's very well crafted harmonies. It sounds like they're a lot, like the harmonies are happening quite a lot, but they're put really intelligently in the certain places. They come in on like certain words I'm noticing. So I'm going to be paying attention to that. Let's go on to the next one. Destined for Nothing. I like the first song.
Who do you believe can put some meaning in your life? Meaning in your life, meaning in your life. Who do you conceive to provide you guidance and light? Guidance and light, guidance and light. Are they waiting for you in the by and by? Do you even have to try? Headed for eternity and destined for nothing. The future isn't difficult to see.
Wow.
To confuse grand design with life's repercussion. Blame it not your vanquished fantasy. It's only destiny. Why do you consent to live in ignorance and fear? Ignorance and fear. Ignorance and fear. Ancient people suck up
a lot.
to it. Can it happen here? Can it happen here? Can it happen here? Does it make you suffer 'cause you have to die? Is it best to live a lie? Headed for eternity and destined for nothing. The future isn't difficult.
Wow. This, like, music theory wise, this is giving me a run for my money. And it doesn't sound like as crazy as it really is. All the chords that are really supposed to be minor, if I'm kind of sticking with the diatonic key they started, they're just making them all major. I haven't heard that in a long time. And you don't hear it really ever. But, you know, if I go through a major scale and play all the diatonic intervals in that scale, it sounds like this. You know, it's got some minor chords, some major chords, and that's just the kind of way it is. So it sounds like this song is honestly kind of going like, it just kind of has this sound. Where like everything's major and they're just jumping around. And what's really interesting about the way they start this phrase here on the A major, when it really should be minor, because that's where my ear wants to go, being in kind of F-ish. Let's see. Right there. Starts out right on the A major. And then it goes down to a G major. So they're planing major chords, meaning they're going back and forth. So it kind of has... sometimes I need my 6-string to show this. I need to start putting a guitar or piano on my desk. It's a lot easier to articulate this stuff, but it kind of has this sound. But what's interesting is they hang on that major third of the A major. Then when they go to the G, it still sounds major and pretty. But a G against the third of the previous chord that hangs over the bar line a bit makes a tritone. So you get this sound, the third of A major, and then the root note of the G. You get this sound. But it's really kind of packaged in this really happy, I don't know, it's the way they're just jumping around in those major chords, like the whole first half of the song, it's like almost impossible to follow. But in a weird way, they're sticking to it so consistently that it has this kind of dark happiness. I don't know if I'm describing it. I just haven't heard that kind of songwriting in a while. And I go back to about here.
Can it happen here? Can it happen here? Can it happen here? Does it make you suffer 'cause you have to die?
That's a minor chord.
Is it best to live?
Okay, this sounds kind of normal.
Headed for eternity and destined for nothing. The future isn't difficult to see. To confuse grand design with
Yeah.
life's
They're landing on that D major too, coming out of a flat major 6-1. And it should be minor, but they go. That's just straight up planing major chords. It's really interesting to me.
Blame it not to vanquish fantasy. It's only destiny.
It's so bizarre, but it sounds good.
Why can't you see? There ain't no destiny for you.
No destiny for you and me.
There ain't no destiny. Why can't you see? Why can't you see? There ain't no destiny for you
Okay, this whole time I just talked about how they playing those major chords and was like real happy. Again, this is the kind of sound they did just a few seconds ago. Musically, it should be like this. That's what they're doing now. They're making that D major now a D minor, and it sounds not quite as happy, and it's got a darker sound. And I wonder if that's intentional to darken up those lyrics on that second repeat. I'm getting really nitty gritty now, but I'm kind of seeing that whole move come into play. And it's tough to skip around on Spotify and be precise, but just trust me, the last part was this. Now they're making it the diatonic way, which darkens it up a bit. That has to be intentional because it's really clever. Right here.
Can't you see?
This next part.
No destiny for you and me. There ain't no destiny.
Right here.
Why can't
Minor.
you see? There ain't no destiny for you and me.
That's great.
There ain't no destiny. No. And if our eternity is
Back to that major
destined for
thing.
nothing, the future isn't difficult to see. To confuse grandson with life's repercussion, naming not to vanquish fantasy. It's only destiny. Come on, let me hear ya. Whoa, 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 whoa.
That was an epic song for only being like 3 minutes. That felt longer than it was. I know I rewound a few times. It's not because of that or anything. Wow, that's a takeaway from this band so far. I know we have a bit to go, but they're all about the subtleties. I'm hearing a lot of little subtle things. And I think if I hadn't harped on the obscure nature of their major chord jumping around and making chords that would be minor, just major out of nowhere, I wouldn't have noticed how normal sounding the other part was, actually making it diatonic. Because the melody's really natural there. And that stood out to me after hearing it done the other way. But I think they put it right on that sort of bridge stanza that was kind of repeating, I don't want to go back, something about destiny over and over again. That's a subtlety. That has to be intentional because they went back to the D major towards the end and kind of ended on more of the note they started on. That's cool. That's the stuff the music nerd in me likes to find. Okay. Very cool one. Materialist. Here we go. Oh, that bass tone.
You're obsessed and distressed because you can't make any sense of the ludicrous nonsense and incipience and essence that'll deem your common sense useless. This ain't no recess. I wanna believe in you, but my plan keeps falling through. I know I have to face the harshness, grit and bear the truth, and I have to walk this mile in my own shoes. But I'm materialist, I'm full on realist. I guess I'm full of doubt, so I'm prone to have it out with you. I'm materialist, there ain't no fear in this. Have it out with you. I'm materialist.
Okay, I hear the bass doing a gurgle under there. That kind of thing. Bass is mixed a little lower on some songs. I feel like it's louder on others, but that bass intro, you could hear the grittiness and the teeth on that tone. I won't go back to it, but just listen for this part right here.
I'm full on realist. I guess I'm full of doubt, so I'm prone to have it out with you. I'm materialist. There ain't no fear in this. It's there for all to see, so don't talk of hidden mystery with me. Mind over matter, it really don't matter. If the street's idle chatter turns your heartstrings to tatters. Flatter hopes don't flatter, and so fatter won't congeal.
I haven't seen any crazy big words yet. I'm sure they're coming. I'm ready. I'm ready at thesaurus.com. It's bookmarked. But I like it. It's just really smart lyric writing. You guys are right. This isn't anything crazy wordy, vocabulary-wise, but mind over matter, it really don't matter. If the street's idle chatter turns your heartstrings to tatters. Flatter hopes don't flatter, and soul batter won't congeal to mend a life. Whoa. It's like just straight up poetry, like really cleverly written phrasing. And that's kind of what I mean by a B rhyme, when they rhyme like tatters against flatter. I guess that's an exact rhyme. I don't know. I'm kind of referencing some other things I've seen, but I feel like I'm staring at the screen reading these lyrics over here. Like I'm reading poetry. You could say that about any band and song and lyrics, but these have that really kind of sophisticated poetic element to them, which I was kind of expecting, but it's really fun to read.
And the life that shattered in the shards, was it in the cards?
Did I mess it up?
The process of belief is an elixir when you're weak. I must confess at times I indulge it on the sneak, but generally my outlook's not so bleak. I'm materialist, call me a humanist. I guess I'm full of doubt, so I'm finally having it out with you. I'm materialist, I ain't no deist. It's there for all to see, so don't talk of hidden mystery with me. Like Rome under Nero, our future's one big zero. Recycling the past to meet immediate needs, and through it all we amble for the persevering climb. Our mountains of regret to sow our seeds. I'm materialist, I'm materialist, I'm materialist, I'm materialist.
Interesting. I feel like I say interesting after every track. I'm going to try to stop that. There's a recurring theme that was really interesting in here, and it kind of expanded on what I talked about in the last song, where notes just hang over. They've done this a lot. Notes just hang over a little long, like just half a beat too long, where it almost clashes with the next chord, but just for a second. I don't hear that a lot. I don't know if that's unique to them, but they're doing sort of this, but the vocals are going, and then it goes up to the C in that riff. So you get this kind of minor to half step major away. It's just another small, like weird sounding chord thing, but they hang over it on that melody. It's just something I'm noticing. Small, subtle thing. Great lyrics. I have no idea what they're about. Even if it's like really surface level, it's just so poetic. I might have to read it multiple times to just see the bigger picture. Of course, I'm just seeing like, 4 lines at a time, which isn't the ideal way to read lyrics. I need to kind of see it on a sheet. But I'm sure you guys know what it's about. I'm not the best lyric guy. I think that's why I stick to music on YouTube. But they're fun. I kind of look forward to them in these full album reactions to kind of just, I don't know, maybe get the bigger picture. It's kind of hard to do with one song. Okay, Materialist. That was a very cool one. Let's move on. Kyoto Now. Here we go. Wow. There was a whole melody there in the riff.
It's a matter of passions, no, not the science fiction kind. It's all about ignorance, and greed and miracles fall a blind. The media parading disjointed politics, founded on petrochemical plunder, and we're its hostages. If you stand to reason, you're in the game. The rules may be elusive, but our pieces are the same. And if one goes down, we all go down as well. The balance is precarious, as anyone can tell.
It's a trip.
This world's going to hell. Don't allow this mythological monster to exact its price. Kyoto now, we can't do nothing. I think someone else will make it right.
Oh my gosh, they're everywhere.
You might not think it matters now, but what if you were wrong?
I think they played like all 12 notes in the whole beginning. It went. I feel like I heard all 12 notes represented in the first half of that song. But they did these little bite-sized chunks. Went to kind of F minor. Then back to C. Man, they're getting me with this stuff. It's the third song I've kind of heard where they're just jumping around. I'm just hanging on. It's pretty cool. I want to go back to about right here. When want to comment on the silence. Really intentional air sucked out of the room kind of vibe here. Okay, I'm just going to rewind this one time to show you.
It's about passions. No, not the science fiction kind.
Like you just feel it. It's like dead, like uncomfortable silence is put in. That's really subtle stuff. Okay, go back to about right here.
Go into hell. Don't allow this mythological
that's beautiful.
monster to exact its price. Kyoto Now. We can't do nothing.
That's a huge cluster chord there. I mean, I wouldn't even know this kind of thing. Like an 11. Listen to this phrase here with the backup vocals, the way it all kind of clashes. You hear a bit of that rub. Cluster chord just means two chords kind of superimposition, but it's essentially two intervals or two chords stacked on each other that just give a little bit of dissonance to it. You just get more of a complex chord with upper extension. So I got minor 7, 11, I think. That's what it kind of reminds me of. Listen to this part right here.
Its price. Kyoto Now. We can't do nothing until someone else will make
pretty.
it right. You might not think it matters now.
Those drums
but
sound
what
so
if you
good.
were wrong? You might not think there's any wisdom in a fucked up punk rock song.
Fucked up punk rock
The way
song.
it is cannot persist for long. A brutal sun is rising on a sick horizon. It's in the way.
That was a lyrical ass bass thing there. I can't quite make out the notes. It's a little low in the mix.
Think it matters now, but what if you were wrong? You might not think there's any wisdom in a fucked up
This part.
punk rock song. But the way it is cannot persist for long. A brutal sun is rising on a sick horizon. It's in the way.
Yeah.
We live our lives exactly like the double edge of a cold familiar knife. And supremacy weighs heavy on the day. It's never really what you own, but what you threw away. And how much did you pay? Don't allow this mythological monster to exact its price. Kyoto Now. We can't do nothing and think someone else will make it right. In your dream, you saw a steady state of bounty for eternity. Silent scream, but now the wisdom that sustains us is in full retreat. Watch out!
They really jumped moods there. Went from this kind of deeper, I'm gonna keep calling it a cluster chord sound, that part. Then they went to this kind of jovial bluesy thing. I like this guitar solo. It kind of brightens up the whole song. Hadn't really heard too much guitar lead stuff in this type of way yet.
Don't allow this mythological monster isn't worth the risk. Kyoto Now. We can't have vision for the future if it can't be fixed. Alien. We need a fresh and new religion to run our lives hand in hand. The errant torpor of inaction will be our demise. Oh. Kyoto Now.
Okay. The arid torpor. Did I read that right? Don't know what that means. Know what arid, I guess, means. Yeah. I failed, y'all. I thought I was gonna be latched to the lyrics, but some of the musical stuff in this one is something else. I've already commented on a lot of it, just trying to get an idea of what it's about. The song, "The world's going to hell. Don't allow this mythologic, hopeful monster to exact its price." Kyoto Now, some sort of a vehicle for, not the best lyric guy. I like this line though. We need a fresh and new religion to run our lives hand in hand. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot going on musically there. Again, So far, they're really about the subtleties, even though a lot of this stuff is like very obvious. You can hear it just jumping around. The way they change and evolve that kind of sound throughout the song is just done with subtleties. I'll notice I'll hear a pattern going. I'm like, okay, I kind of think I see what they're doing there. Then the like fifth repeat, it'll be major, just randomly, just one time. And I wonder if that's to kind of support the word by word emotion of the lyrics going by. There could be some deeper nuance happening there, which I suspect, but nonetheless, let's go on. Sorrow. Okay. This was highly requested on YouTube as well. And I've read a lot about this song just in the comments. I see this come up a lot. Reading it on Wikipedia, it's one of their bigger songs. It's a staple in their live sets. Something about Fat Mike really liked this song. I feel like I remember reading that. So this might be a pivotal song. Here we go. Sorrow. Wow, this is a ride so far.
Father, can you hear me? How have I let you down? I curse the day that I was born, and all the sorrow in this world. Let me take you to the hurting ground, where all good men are trampled down, just to settle a bet that could not be won, between a prideful father and his son. Will you guide me now, for I can see a reason for the suffering and this long misery. What if every living soul could be upright and strong? Well, then I do imagine there will be sorrow. Yeah, there will be sorrow, and there will be sorrow no more. When all soldiers lay their weapons down, or when all kings and all queens relinquish their crowns, or when the only true Messiah rescues us from ourselves, it's easy to imagine there will be sorrow. Yeah, there will be sorrow, and there will be sorrow.
It's really got some worship song vibes in a way. And I'm reading a bit, the lyrical content. These melodies are incredible in this one. So I'm trying to just get the whole context. It's tough with a first listen sometimes. I hear a lot of character in his voice that I haven't heard yet. I'm sure it's been there, but this is a really kind of raw, more delicate side of his voice in terms of just the pitches, the note control, not a vocal channel. But I'm just hearing a lot of this. Just like really emotive singing style in this one. So far, I'm kind of understanding their role in terms of backup vocals, the band's role. I didn't read how many people were singing. It sounds like a whole freaking choir. Sounds like 3 people a lot of the time. I did read that Jay Bentley does backup vocals, but they've got this choir thing. All of their voices have a similarity to them that, when you have different voices, it can really make it 3D in terms of timbre, but they have a lot of similar timbres where it sounds like one person's kind of doubling themselves, or it could be all 3 with subtle differences, but it has this kind of choral sound, very choir-like. I want to go back to about right here.
All kings and all queens relinquish their crowns.
Yeah.
Oh, the only true Messiah rescues us from ourselves. It's easy to
That's great solo.
Yeah, there will be sorrow, and there will be sorrow no more. Yeah, there will be sorrow. Yeah, there will be sorrow, and there will be sorrow.
That's a great song. Yeah. That had like a hymnal quality to it. That's what a worship song, like an old hymn. Truly. Maybe the choral nature of the background vocals, maybe that, but I'm reading the Kings and Queens and Crowns of Messiah. I didn't grasp the full message. I mean, is it as simple as I think, or is there more to it? You know, Father, can you hear me? Have I let you down? I curse the day that I was born. All the sorrow in this world, let me take you to the hurting ground. Yeah, I mean, it's almost like a parable in a way, but it's got a hymnal catchiness to it, like an old hymn. And I think that they're doing a spin on that sound to relay a bigger message. If it's anything like the kind of subject matter I've read so far, I'd be curious to kind of know why this song is singing about what it is. You know, is this tied in with the album? Is there a deeper theme to the album, the process of belief? I didn't really think about that until now. Yeah, great bass playing. I hear a lot of like just really meat and potatoes bass fills happening. And the way this song started was nothing like the rest of the song. There's a really interesting setup. And if I'm thinking back, there was a lot of delay on the vocals because I remember it on the word born. I'm reading it right there. I cursed the day that I was born, 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 born. So it's almost like that effect was used if this is more like a prayer. And then it came in and it was more dry. But the sparse nature of that intro, it had that kind of bass held note. It had like the kind of drums were more of an auxiliary type of sparse part. Almost like a in your head kind of sound. So that was really great artistic choices production wise. If that was supposed to be more like a prayer, then the rest of the song might have been something else. I could be way off base here. Just spitting out my first listen impressions. Yeah, that's a great song. It's catchy and very cool. Now we're going on to Epiphany, which I've not listened to since we did that reaction. Here we go. It's great.
A new age of reason, brain treason to trick the mind. What good is searching?
Oh, that snare is so
if
fat.
nothing's there to find? We arrive at this place of no return, my brothers, only to discover that our minds have led us away so far from the paper truth of who we are.
Yeah, I remember now.
What's right is wrong, what's come is gone, what's clear and pure is not so sure. All promises become a lie, all that's benign corrupts in time. Of come forth, bear witness. See the prophet.
Yeah, this is just as good as I remember.
Forgiveness. Only after you tally the call.
Did not read the lyrics, of course, on the single songs. I rarely do. I never look at them. I just, if I happen to hear a phrase, I'll might comment on it. But these are just as deep as everything. Epiphany. So I'm trying to read them now. I've heard the song. I'll talk about a bit of that. There's a couple things I don't remember hearing, but let's keep going.
We arrive at this place of no return, my sisters, only to discover that our values rise the ground. All the show
So good.
What's right is wrong, what's gone is gone, what's clear and pure is not so sure. Our promises become a lie, all that's been right corrupts in time.
Ain't that the truth? I really like this whole thing. It came to me, all promises become a lie. All that's benign corrupts in time. The fallacy of Epiphany. Wow, we're getting philosophical. I needed more coffee for this one. I love the lyric writing. I feel like I'm reading a novel and listening to music. Like I'm just reading a book, and this is the music I'm just listening to in the background while I read a novel. But it is the lyrics to the song. It's really interesting. Cold blue untruths.
Subservient to dawn on one's perspective. Yeah.
Just a big fat diminished arpeggio. I remember talking about this in the video, but it doesn't sound diminished like, you know, this is kind of the chord Jay's outlining there, but he's inverting it, changing the root. It kind of sounds like a horror movie soundtrack. But in the context of all the other epicness going on, that buildup is so freaking good. It's just the way it explodes on the D major. I talked about this in the YouTube video a lot, but makes you think it's going to be a minor chord, then it's not. And I've read a lot of comments commenting on the fact that I said that. So they really play with the dark to light thing. And that's kind of what I'm thinking of every time I hear this like major minor, you know, straddling the tightrope thing they're doing. But just that buildup is sexy. AF. Fabulous. It's a great song. Okay, so I've arrived at the song I have done. And you know, to be honest, there are songs that have this vibe a lot more than I thought. I might have thought Epiphany was this complete outlier, and it really is, but there's some other things on there on the album I've heard so far. Yeah, and now it's like I almost need to hear other albums to compare it to this one because they're still all over the place. What a deep band. Right? And I'm really sucked into the lyrics. And it's like half the time I gloss over a stanza and I'm like, no idea what it's referencing. I'm just like reading the wording purely on that on some of these stanzas. Just the way it's phrased, like just from a literature standpoint. And yeah, that's a great song. I love the bass intro, the whole way it builds. That's a slow burn, and the whole way it delivers the message. So it ended with, it's a fallacy, the epiphany, always failing me. Someone's going to have to clarify exactly what he might have been writing about if it's not just the concept of ideas of delusions of grandeur or something. I don't really know. I didn't grasp that one. Um yeah, these are tough. I just like reading the wording. Okay. Evangeline. Here we go.
She came from heaven, well there's no point for labor in that. I've seen some trouble and I must admit that I'm in demand. I can rock rejection with magnetic good intentions, and yet, hey Jack, get back, in fact don't do that. I act sharp, but feel uncertain, cause next time it could be curtains. Evangeline!
Evangeline.
So fine, let me up because mine is broken compared to mine. What is your crime, Evangeline? Not just to be certain, let's be sure to set the record straight. I could use an angel, but I don't intend to split up the tape. Never go for treason, but I got reasons that don't warrant debate. My act's intact, and in fact, you're not all that. You act sure, but you're uncertain, cause next time it could be curtains. Evangeline! Conspirator so fine, let me up because mine is broken compared to mine. What is your crime, Evangeline?
Crazy good rhyme wordplay there. It's not your typical A-B rhyme. So fine. Because then they say, lend me your faith because mine is broken compared to mine. What is your crime, Evangeline? Some weird, just unique rhyme phrasing. But like if I read it, you don't think it rhymes as much as it does until you hear it way it's sung and the melody behind it. Yeah, I might be too stupid for this album, you guys. I might be overthinking it, but I think I'm just getting sucked into the crafting of the words. I've kind of given up on the meaning here and there, but it seems to be, it could be very personal. It's kind of like propaganda, right? Like I can at face value understand and use my imagination to build out a picture of what's going on or a feeling or an emotion. But in terms of what it's really referencing, I have no idea. And some bands like it that way. So it's not like I'm here to dissect it on the first listen, but yeah, this one's got some really cool rhyme schemes in it. They went to a different key here, and then they changed some of the chords to major. Listen to the difference there. If I can, I don't want to rewind too much. Yeah, this is more like B minor. And if we go here, it's like up a whole step. Okay. That was a perfect example, that tag ending of kind of all the chords are a little more major than they should be. Yeah, Evangeline. I know I said Evangeline. I know an Evangeline. I don't know an Evangeline. Yeah, I have no idea what to expect with this band. Gosh, they have such a huge discography. Like, this is their 12th album. Man, like some of my favorite bands don't even have 10. So, and this is from 2002. I don't recall how many they've released since then, but it must be well into the teens. Wow, this is quite a world to get into. really sophisticated writing. And I'm not commenting a lot on the bass. It's like I hear it and it's really meat and potatoes good stuff. I hear a lot of typical tropes I hear a lot in rock music, but it's just the right thing. Sometimes I don't notice the bass part. It's just kind of hugging the root. And that's the thing I want to mention too. Like I don't want to choose albums or songs that are just all about the bass. There's just very few of those songs out there. I enjoy commenting on good songwriting. Even with the full albums, I'm kind of more invested in the lyrics on this one and just the really good songwriting, orchestration, some of the twists and turns they're throwing. And every now and then, Jay will come out and rip some really good bass fill, but it's like utility. Like it really bridges a chorus into a bridge. Like I heard that on a couple songs ago, that really nasty one that was like 2 bars long. So I'm enjoying just looking past the bass, but maybe seeing how it propels or elevates the rest of the song. And sometimes there's really upfront bass stuff. Sometimes there isn't. But I really liked hearing Epiphany, and I understand why everyone was asking for that track now. Compared to what I've heard on the rest of the album, that was a really melodic way to use the bass. But I like that he's just all about subtleties. Okay, The Defense. Here we go. Reversed. That's cool.
Nothing comes easier than madness in the world today. Mass paranoia is a mode, not a malady. Yeah, I'd like to watch 1,000 cable channels, but there's nothing. And my high-speed connections monitored daily by the Pentagon. These things are seldom what they seem.
It's that texture those guitars add back there.
Pentagon. These things are seldom what they seem.
That's really good.
I'm not inclined to enjoy my dream. Won't go away. No peace and no friends. We trace the mortal edge to state the obvious. This world is perilous for us. No sense and no guide. Ain't it beautiful to be alive? I won't resign before the struggle ends. So I'll construct this sound defense.
Didn't repeat that. I hear a slightly different bass tone here. I can't remember if he always uses a pick. Feel like I read that. Don't know. Definitely sounds like it here, but it's got this kind of chainsaw-ish kind of drive to it. It's kind of like the tone's more nasally, like you can really hear it right here. Yeah, kind of almost like bridge pickup there. Maybe not that exaggerated, but that adds a vibe. Just even changing the bass tone can completely morph the whole way a riff comes across. Okay.
We are the prey, and culture is the predator. I'm running out of time where conditions are positional. Shadows of a dial cast reluctance and depravity. There's gotta be a way to overcome this grim reality. Is there an option left for me?
That's dreamy.
I'm not immune to despondency. There's no way, no peace, no friends.
One second.
I'm not immune to despondency. There's no.
Yeah, that's really interesting. This is I'm kind of putting it together. They're kind of writing on the B Locrian scale, which is the 7th modal scale of a major scale. So if you play a normal major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it's playing that same major scale off of the 7th note. So it's the same scale, just starting and ending on a different note. And you can still lean into a major scale sound, but have a darker sound without being minor. And that's kind of a halfway way to put it. So Locrian scale sounds like this. Like it has this unsure sound. And I'm just realizing they jump up a tritone to that F. And when they fill in the rest of the chords with other chords, I'm like, oh, this is in C major, but we're on a B. That's all in that scale. You don't hear Locrian. Locrian, for an example, is kind of like Enter Sandman Metallica in a way. It's kind of close to Phrygian, which has that darker, more unsure sound, but this is pretty Locrian to me. Not that that matters at all, but it's just kind of, I'm just mentally putting just a framework around the notes they're choosing, and it has that unsure sound. And I think what that creates is when you kind of ride on that, it's like, where's it going? It almost has that, like, Mission Impossible. Like it could really go anywhere. It's just kind of keeping you in anticipation. And I don't know if they thought, let's write this in the Locrian scale, but it definitely has that suspense element to it.
I'm not immune to despondency. There's no way, no peace, no friends. We trace the mortal edge to state the obvious. This world is perilous for us. No sex and no God. Ain't it beautiful to be alive? I won't resign before the struggle ends. So I'll construct this sound defense. There's a signpost on the corner, and it keeps
Wow.
everybody safe. We were all made in the shade.
I heard the bass poke out there a little bit. Yeah, they went to this more mellow A minor thing, which is really weird because it still could be in C major. But I heard a D major in there, like a first inverted. I'm just trying to follow it. Man, they really throw some surprises in there musically. I quit kind of guessing what's coming next musically because I've been wrong in my head most of the time so far.
Post on the corner, and it keeps everybody safe.
Bassist.
We were all
Yeah.
made in the shade. And your mother's in the kitchen, where she's patching all the cracks in the wall. We never had a care in the world.
Whoa. No idea. It's everywhere.
Too much to sacrifice, it's hard to recognize. Traps and compromise of fury, deadly alibis. It's combinational, the pressure's so intense. So I'll construct this sound defense. Nothing's greater than the madness in the world today. I must conceal myself and steal myself and break away. I seek initiative in matters that are black and white. So I'll construct this sound defense.
Yeah, they did that da 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 da. They did it like one time earlier in the song. Is that the same song? This was 4 minutes, so I think it was this song. They didn't really bring that rhythmic thing back until the end. Yeah, I got sucked away into the music on that one again. Trying to separate sort of the backup vocals, the secondary vocals. I wouldn't call them backup because they're a big integral part of the melody. But the way they're written out, it's very wordy on here, just with the parentheses. It makes more sense to hear it. Yeah, Lot of wordplay here. I'm running out of time. Our conditions are positional. Shadows of a doubt cast. Reluctance and depravity. There's got to be a way to overcome this grim reality. Is there an option left for me? I'm not immune to despondency. Whew. Thick. Thick wordplay on that one. Okay. Let's keep going. The Lie. Pretty. Might be the last to know. Freedom is such a loaded word, so full of hurt and such a fun. Loneliness saunters in its breeze, like Odysseys and drags along. The time of your life can't be had for a song. Why do you lie? Why do you lie? Would you betray your soul? Why do you lie? Why do you lie? Okay, I grew up really liking the band America. Very classic band. Not sure if any of you have listened to them, but they've, Horse with No Name, that type of thing. I think what drew me into that band originally was that I had never heard vocalists blend like that perfectly. It almost sounded like fake. Not in like it was faked, but it just sounded like so perfect. This Why Do You Lie part has that type of blend. Like I'm thinking in my head, like this sounds like America. The vocals, just the harmonies. You listen to songs like Ventura Highway. In fact, the second video I ever did on my channel, you can go back and look at it. I didn't have this light, so it was really dark. That was the second reaction analysis video I did for Ventura Highway, because that has a great, really quirky bass line for such a commercial song, which is why I did it. But those vocals, the way they blend, remind me a lot of this and these guys. It's like they all sound, it's like three elements make up one voice. I don't know how to describe it. Just talking about the blend. It's just really aesthetically pleasing to listen to. Like this whole section right here. Like it's just pleasing to listen to. I don't know how else to describe it. Why do you lie? Would you betray your soul? Why do you lie? Why do you lie? Don't let your weakness. Almost has like a strings quality, like synth. It's just, I don't know. I'm a sucker for that. Show you just might be the last to know. Some really tasty lead work. That's an epic resolve. That's a really epic melody to end the song with. It was epic the whole time. Yeah, this is, it's so bizarre. Like, I think if you still ask me today, what does a punk band sound like? I would probably answer with like Rancid. Like, that's like, if I'm pulling my old idea of what punk bands sounded like, I would have said like the Ramones, and like Rancid have that angstiness to them, but I hear Bad Religion's like one of the quintessential punk bands. And like, I think if I just heard this, I would be like, it doesn't sound punk to me. I'm learning that has nothing to do with it, and that punk really isn't the stylistic characteristic musically always. It's really about the attitude or maybe the place the musicians are coming from. And that's so much bigger than just the stylistic music thing I tend to get hung up on. And I like that it's not like that. It just shows me that this whole thing is so much bigger than just like, Rancid No Effects, which those are great bands. But this is, to hear their names so often in those circles and then hear this type of thing, I'm like, wow, that's kind of just flipped the whole definition on its head. And I'm still going to consider myself really new to just punk in general. And I didn't listen to any of these bands. They're so different. And I'm not even sure what ties them together being punk musically, because that's been very clear. Lyrically, I could probably see the place they're coming from, maybe the subject matter, but this is just blowing my mind every time I hear a band that's like, oh, this is like one of the most quintessential punk bands. You have to do it. Then I listen to them, I'm like, really? That's been the coolest thing this far in, to still find a band that just is reminding me of other very non-punk bands. America on the vocals, beautiful orchestrations. Okay, that was pleasing to listen to. I really like the vocals in that one. Kind of a poppier song. A little more repetition on this one than some of the other ones. Not as many curveballs, but that's a great tune. Second to last. Wow, we're getting there. You Don't Belong. Here we go.
Hey, you, is there something worth aspiring to? And can it be found in a record store? Well, it's not there anymore. Just think of all the things we did. We were different, just like all the other kids. Missy was a teen blue video star. Dad took his life in his mother's car.
Milo went to college. You guys be proud of me. I caught the reference. Oh, this kind of reminds me of that NoFX song that was just referencing a lot of other things in the scene. Have I missed one already? Okay. Now I'm kind of looking for that. I don't know if this whole song is riddled with those, but I'm proud of myself. Milo went to college. I would have never gotten that a year ago.
About that, Rodney played a record. She started riots. Lauren is always quiet. She was battling depression.
Sorry, 1 second. That was a quick break. 1 second.
Rodney played a record. She started riots.
You know what's cool? They assign a different chord that all kind of have a different inflection on where it falls in the cadence. But Rodney played our records. Jimmy started riots. Lori was always quiet. Every time they say a name, it changes chords. And it's almost like, I bet they ordered them in a certain way to go with the music. Maybe. Subtlety? Maybe I'm just clutching at straws, but I like that.
Rodney played a record. She started riots. Lauren is always quiet.
That's kind of a weird chord there.
Okay. Hey, you, is there something worth belonging to? And can I pick it up for a song? Or a diploma or a worthy cause? Well, let me tell you that there's something wrong.
Okay, that's a big subtlety. I thought I heard this in the beginning of the song, but I definitely know it's intentional now. The change in perspective there and point of view. Jimmy started riots. Lori was always quiet. She was battling depression. Then it switches. Hey, you, is there something worth belonging to? And they have that echo delay that was kind of on in the beginning of the song, Sorrow. So is that like an introspective thought? And then it switches, and can I pick it up for a song? So we go from, hey, you to can I? One sentence away, and that delay goes off. It sounds like when it switches back to first person. Listen to that.
A song or a
delay.
Hey, you, is there something worth belonging to?
Now it's back dry.
And can I pick it up for a song?
That's cool.
Or a diploma or a worthy cause? Well, let me tell you that there's nothing wrong. It's just the ones like us will never belong. Jack wore a skirt, but he knew how to scrap. Billy went to county on a class 1 possession. Wendy went to school while her daddy shot smack. Eugene kept a list. Muggle was security. Mary, she kept her purity.
like when guitars kind of ditch the power chord and get more power out of the single note, the kind of emotion behind it. So walking down from G to F sharp to E, back where this is kind of writing on, it's really more going like, which power chords sound heavy. That's most of rock music, but they've ditched the chord. They went the single note and kind of did this, which almost is more impactful. Listen to the way they switch that up there. Chords. Yeah. I don't know, something more just visceral about it.
Like a song when I'm gone, yeah. Hey, you, is there something with
There's that delay.
You know we've been here all along, like a confederacy of the wrong, and I confess it could be prejudice, but to you I dedicate this song.
Yeah, you.
Yeah, to
you. Wow. Yeah, I wanted to comment on the lead guitar playing. It's so uncharacteristic of what I've heard in other punk bands. I've heard a lot of lead guitar stuff, but not like this. I'm curious about his influences because the songwriting is a bit more smarty pants, if you will. I use that term sometimes. It just means just got a little complexity to it. His solos, his lyrical phrasing are really melodic and catchy. It almost reminds me of like Journey, Neil Schon. That's a big compliment coming from me. I grew up on Journey. I've always loved Neil Schon's playing. It's like each of his solos are like a whole chorus. They like stand alone. They are like an entire verse of a vocal melody. It just has a really good like rising action, falling, climax. The way it wraps up, really catchy, singable, anthemic guitar solos. And he doesn't really shred. Maybe a little run here and there or something, but I feel like I should have commented on that sooner because every solo that's come up, the first time I heard it, I'm like, okay, cool, a guitar solo of this kind of classic style, kind of bluesy. And then each solo that comes up, I'm like, I kind of look forward to it and zone in because it's got really beautiful phrasing and just something I wanted to comment on. And the solos aren't just what I expected from a band like this. And they don't even really fit with the song at some points. I like that contrast. You get this kind of heavier, some of the songs got more of that forbidden beat punk. Got this, the guitar solo comes in and it's like, don't stop believing type of melody. I like that pairing. I have to comment on that. Okay, last song. This one's gone by quick. And I know it's not an hour-long album. It's only 36 minutes, but I've really been taken somewhere. And I know I've been kind of quiet, but I'm just really trying to like see how the music storyboards and fits in with the lyrics. It's really a lot of intentional stuff happening. Certain phrases that hit on certain chords, like the names. And ever since I heard that delay, reverb come on just for a line, almost as a point of view change, I'm just like, I feel like if I start talking over the music, I'm going to miss something. So I hope I'm not quieter than usual. But this has been quite the journey. Last song, Bored and Extremely Dangerous. Here we go.
with nothing better to do. No one to come home to. I won't fully conclude to take it out on you. I'm bored to the extreme. This world of foolish dreams, disillusion. I'm not who I to harm and bear my right to arm retribution. If only someone would listen to me. Whoa, listen to me. Listen to me.
It's like a Picardy third there, where you expect it to go to minor and it just goes to major after it's already gone to minor on a previous phrase. So they've been going back to G minor a lot. The major out of nowhere, that's happened a lot, but the way it's phrased here, I guess you could technically call it that. Picardy third is the term.
Listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to me.
It's so regal. Just bear my right to arm retribution. If only someone would listen to me. Okay.
A book on mental health.
Thought we were going like Pink Floyd's Time for a second there. That jump scared me.
I look for inner wealth.
That's the minor they're supposed to be going to with the key, which is what he was doing in the beginning.
I look for inner wealth. By punishing myself, I'm bored to the extreme. This world of foolish dreams, disillusion. I'm not who I seem to be. Yeah, sure, I might do harm and bear my right to arm retribution. If only someone would listen to me. Whoa, listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to me.
They ended on it too. So I came into this episode thinking, well, naively thinking that hearing a whole album from the band was going to give me a really clear picture of their sound. And I just feel like I heard the whole album and I don't have any better clarity on their sound. There's so many different ways the rest of their discography could go. And I'm not baiting you into, let's do all the Bad Religion albums. What I'm saying is, with a discography that big, I'm just so curious of their evolution stylistically, because I find it hard to believe their first album would have some of this stuff in it, because it's their 12th, like I said. But this was really interesting. It really took me somewhere. I think I got quieter, as I said, as the album went on, because there were so many just really easy to miss subtleties, and I'm sure I missed so many lyrically. My ear gravitates toward the music first. I have to really go to pay attention to the lyrics. I've always been that way. But I did hear a bit of their more standard punk, heavier, kind of thrashier sound kind of come out in a lot of these songs. So I'm just curious about the band's evolution. And there's so much of this band to explore. So many people have recommended their second and third album and all this stuff. So it's there's just so much to soak my sink my teeth into, soak my teeth into. There's no way to get to all of it on YouTube or even here. I'm just going to have to listen on my own. And that's becoming the case with a lot of bands. But that was really quite the journey, orally speaking. My favorite songs. It's hard to choose just one. I really liked Broken. For some reason, I think it was the placement of the album. It came after some more grittier, punkish type songs. Well, they're all punk. Grittier, just punk of like what I think it is. Faster tempos. Kyoto Now, I really liked. The Defense was really good. And Sorrow. I think if I had to pick one, like Broken and Kyoto Now, I just really grabbed me for whatever reasons. I don't ever want to pick the track I already heard on YouTube, which is Epiphany. I'm going to say Broken and Kyoto Now, but they were all just full of surprises. Someone in the band has to be really versed in music theory because they just didn't do any of the rules. You have to kind of know the rules to break them. And with as intellectual and sophisticated as the poetic nature of the lyrics is, I would be really surprised if all of that musical stuff was just, it's what sounded good. It was just all by happenstance. They broke just about all the rules of theory. And I love when bands do that. And I think people have the misconception that I talk about music theory as much as I do because I'm pointing out the rules or I'm indirectly suggesting bands should follow them. That's kind of the reason I got into progressive music and metal, because they broke all the rules. Odd time signatures, weird modulations that make no sense. This band scratched that itch for me. And I really like that. Thank you guys for voting this. Again, I don't feel like I came out of this album with any better understanding of the band. They're full of surprises and layers and complexity. We'll just have to get to more. I think that's all I got. This was quite the trip in ways I didn't expect. So thank you guys again. This has been Bad Religions, The Process of Belief. We'll see you next time.